What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV, giving you the best content that you're going to find on the internet. I promise if you stay for 10 minutes, you're going to stay for the entire episode because we have the legendary Beverly Pomerantz here, who is the queen of game shows, and we have so much to cover in such a small amount of time. So, Beverly, what do you have to say to the positivity posse before we get started?
How you doing, everybody? How you doing?
How you
No, and
doing?
this is great. I'm so happy to be on your show. And here's little Daisy. I'll just say, Daisy, she's my positivity little girl. Say hi.
Well, we
Now she'll
welcome
say goodbye.
Beverly and Daisy onto the show as well. And for everybody watching, I need you to really light it up in the comments, more so than usual, because this episode is going to be amazing. And when I tell you that Beverly is just the epitome of every positive subject and that we talk about here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV, we are in for such a special treat today. So, Beverly, thank you for being here. To my positivity posse, if you're watching live or on the replay, I appreciate you so much being here. And now, it's time to get started for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Let's get it, everybody. It's time to get it rolling. Welcome back, everybody. It is time for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. And I'm telling you, I'm not just saying that because Bev was on, and now that she's not here, I can say whatever I want. No, I truly mean when I said she's absolutely incredible. And we get to hear about her story, really being a casting director and working in all different parts of the world due to just such the great spirit that she has and the awesome job that she does of being an expert in being a casting director specifically for game shows. And this, I'm just very great because in the middle of the episode as well, I didn't even tell Bev this. We have a special segment that I created just for her arrival. And I'm just really excited to be here with everybody on this Thursday. But, before we bring Bev on, we have to really share this moment with the Positivity Posse and I, because that's what we do every single week. Sorry, Bev. We got to get our positive vibes going. So, everybody out there, I just want to talk this week, especially about the power of our words and how when we speak with power over our lives, and everything that we do say will come to fruition and will manifest, whether it's 5 minutes down the line or whether it's 5 years down the line, it is bound to really come into existence, everything that we say. And I just want to give you two examples. Actually, I'm a little blurry right now. I don't know why that is. I'm just going to come a little bit closer to the camera. So I'm just going to play this little bumper, but we'll be right back because I got to fix this. It's actually kind of bothering me a little bit. So don't go anywhere and we'll be right back. Actually, I think that should be better. I mean, it still looks a little blurry, but that is okay. So the power of our word is just so important because, like I said, it will manifest. So there's two examples that I want to give you guys today about how easily we can glance over our sentences. So number one, I was having this conversation with this lovely, lovely, wonderful lady, and she was telling me about the squirrel that recently passed away. And she needed to know why, what happened, or if anybody knew any information. And when I was speaking to her, I used this phrase, and I'm saying it again only because I'm telling you about the story. But it was, oh, I bet if you don't get that information, then it's going to eat you alive. And she had to correct me. She goes, well, let's not use that phrase because, eating you alive, you only have a finite amount of body. So if it constantly eats you alive, then you're going to be dead, right? So just the infliction and the energy and the meaning behind that is not really as positive as it can be versus saying, okay, well, you'll feel a lot better once you'll find that information. So I said that. I said, you know what? Thank you so much for correcting me because, come on, the positivity posse. That's what we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to be on point on my game. So thank you for correcting me. And actually, just 2 hours later, I was having another conversation. And this is just today. And this is the ones that we're conscious of, right? So 2 hours later, I was having a conversation with somebody else. And this person wanted a job. So they were just talking about being bilingual and how their Spanish is very, very great. But when it comes to like banks or people in the professional world that can speak English and Spanish, this person that I was talking with verbally said, yeah, their Spanish is so good that it puts mine to shame or it puts me to shame. And I was like, whoa, 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 time out, time out. We can't use that phrase because you're putting yourself in that state of shame and negativity, and it's not really as great as what it can be. So you can say, I can learn, I need to learn that style of Spanish, or I just need a little bit of brush up or practice or whatever it is that you need to do. Or just be thankful that these people can talk to you in that way so you can learn and take it forward in your repertoire and in your skill set. So yeah, it's very easy how we can get trapped up on things with the power of our words if we're not careful. And like I said, if we're saying these things that have energy behind them, we're just going to receive more of the energy that we're putting out there. So make sure that even with the smallest of details, I'm going to give you one. You might think I'm crazy for this, but I think it's so true. When we say good morning, right? When you mourn about something or someone, you're in sorrow, you're in grief, and it's just not a good look or not a good thing to say. I usually say grand rising or great day when it comes to that. So you might think that I'm going a little bit too much, or I might be too meticulous in the way that I speak, but I just think it's so important. And I know Beverly, when she comes on, she's going to know exactly what I'm talking about because it's so important to really understand why these things happen to us. But if we don't understand it all starts from within and that everything on the outside is a reflection of that, then that's when we can start to get a little bit tripped up. But since we know better, now we have to do better. And that's all that I'm going to say about that because we have a lot that we need to cover since Beverly here is in the building with us. And I'm just so excited. We have Jeanette here saying right here, Grand Rising. Thank you, Jeanette, for leaving that. A great member of the Positivity Posse as well. And I saw one more, which is Lou right here. Thank you for dropping the hashtag Positivity Posse. And if you're watching live or on the replay, I encourage you to please leave that comment as well so I get to know who you are and that you are throwing so much positive energy by leaving that comment into the show, into the world, and into yourself as well. So it's not just there to look good and to drive engagement, honestly. It's just to put yourself in that state of happiness because that's what we talk about here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV. What it takes to become successful, how can we be happy every single day, and how can we achieve that style of peace through my story, through the guest story, and through your story as well. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. We have to bring Beverly onto the show. When I tell you, you guys are going to get a kick out of her. She's absolutely amazing. From the first conversation that I had with her, I just knew, all right, there's something different about this woman. It's not the way that she looks because, yes, she's very beautiful, but it's just everything that goes on the inside as well. And I'm very excited to bring her here live on Weekly Dose of Dano TV. So everybody, please welcome Beverly with a fire emoji, a heart, some positive words, anything that you can think of to match our energy because we're bringing you the fire right now. Beverly, what are you doing scheduling people on future game shows? It's time for you to come onto the show.
Hello, Dano. You know how people are always saying, I'm dying to go there. I'm dying to do this. I'm dying to travel. I'm dying to get on Dano's show. No, I'm living to get on Dano's show. I'm living to do things. So thank you for having me as a guest. I'm really heartfelt with you. And you said something earlier about learning from the person with speaking Spanish. I was thinking the exact same thing that you were saying, that learn from them. So I think that was great that you mentioned that.
Yeah, of course. And I know a lot of the things that we talk about definitely coincide with one another. And we just kind of have that style of, positivity and finding the great in the world and using everything as positive fuel. So that's why I said earlier, I wasn't just saying that you are the epitome of the type of people that we want to learn more about with your style of just thinking, your experience, and everything in between as well. So thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, no, this is great. I love your energy because we spoke. I remember thinking, God, how did an hour go by in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
It just seemed like an hour went by so quickly. So this is pretty exciting, and I love what I do. Like you would be a great contestant on a game show. I mean, you got the enthusiasm, you got the passion that people are looking for, and I think you're like amazing. You've got the energy. So if we're showing something in Los Angeles, we can fly you out to LA. Watch out. Come on down.
There it is. Well, I got to practice on my game show contestant skills. Let's see. I won $100,000. Is that good enough, or is that
Oh my
too?
gosh, yes. Your check is in the mail. How's that?
Yeah, we claim that, and yeah, well, now we got the video proof. So, Bev, you can't take it back. So, we have everybody here in the comment section lighting it up for you. We have hello Beverly. Welcome to the
Hello,
show,
welcome
Beverly.
to the show. Hi, Lou.
Everybody that isn't commenting, that is just sending you that good love. So, Bev, I want you to tell just a quick synopsis of kind of all the game shows that you've done, and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been casting game shows for over 35 years. I worked at banks for 12 years. That was kind of like my schooling because I was very shy and uncomfortable around people. And so working at a bank, I remember one day thinking, if customers would walk by me all the time, they would never say hello. So I said, well, what if I got out of my comfort zone and I said hello? Oh my gosh. When I quit the bank, I got a stack of letters this big. People quit the bank because I wasn't there. Because I learned that when you're nice and you're friendly, that's all people want to hear about. Be kind and silly and make people laugh, which is what I did when I saw Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom the other day. I'll tell you that story. It was very funny. So that got me into, and then I was tired of working at a bank, called a girlfriend, what are you doing? Looking for a job. Went to Merrill Heater. Merrill Heater created the original Hollywood Squares. I went to his house. This is when we had the good young days. People call it the good old days. No, for me, those were the good young days. And we had typewriters. So I stick a piece of,
what's a typewriter?
I know, you never heard of that, right?
Yeah.
I put a piece of paper in. He hired me on the spot. Then this man, Art Alisi, who I'll always love, he said, I need you to go look for contestants. I was so shy. I thought, what do you mean look for contestants? Go to the market. You go to shopping. You just ask people. So I went to Pavilions Market. This was almost 40 years ago. And I'm still finding contestants at Pavilions Market, the same one, changing lives. Now I find that they're children.
Yeah, right.
Their parents, yeah, because it's been a long time. But I've changed lives at Pavilions Market. I could tell you funny stories about what happened.
And we're definitely going to get into those funny stories as well because we have so much to talk about. And you know what? Why not start with that? So out of all the game shows that you can possibly list, can you tell people all of them? And in that one, or pick your favorite one, what was the most fun that you've had show working on?
It's really difficult to say, but one of the most fun, because you saw a lot of people at the same time. Family Feud. I was like Richard Dawson or Ray Combs or now Steve Harvey. I was the host behind the scenes. So I got to play the game with everybody. I got to meet them. I got to see if they were right for the show. And then, you pick them and then the producer, and we book them for the show. We had a woman, and I go out in the field and I find people on the street. So there was this one woman, and she was from the South, older lady, and she was just going to go to the podium to hit the button. She yells out, all right, I'm ready. And her underpants fell down. And they get caught on her ankles, and she's walking out like this. And somebody, I think it was Maggie, grabs the underwear, pushes her on stage, and she yells out, that's the last time I'm wearing my underpants over my pantyhose. I said, Nadine, what happened? She said, Beverly, I had my arms up in the air, and I hear pop, and they're my bloomers. Then they sent me a thank you card with Mama's bloomers on it.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
I've had so many funny, we worked with Carol Burnett and Betty White. They played against each other. Little Richard, just tons and tons of actors playing against each other, and it's been fun. I still have all my photos, and no, it's great. I worked on Family Feud, Classic Concentration, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Don't forget the lyrics. Do you know? Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Do you know that one?
Yeah, is that Jeff Foxworthy?
That was Jeff Foxworthy. So I met a guy in New York. He was a producer. Anyway, he flew to LA. We put him on the show. And he knew the answer, and he said it 3 times. Florida, Florida, Florida. Okay, are you going to lock in? He had $175,000 in his pocket. Are you going to lock in? He goes, locked in. Wisconsin. Where did that come from? He lost. He still walks home with $26,000. I met him for dinner that night. He was crying. He's good now. He's producing plays in Manhattan, New York. But it was, you know, you don't know when you get on a show. I did Classic Concentration with Alex Trebek. I worked with him for 4 years. He was, you know what, Alex, you are an amazing man. He will always be an amazing man. But we had a contestant on, and I don't know if your viewers know that show, but you had to match things. If you match everything, then you go to play the car. He needed to match 2 numbers. He had 3 numbers left to match. He matched them all, but he had 3 numbers, and he had 10 seconds. There's no way you could not win the car. So that goes down. All he had to do is call 3 numbers.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he loses. And Alex is like, what? I'm like, what did you do? His mother runs on stage. She goes, why didn't you get the car? And he says, he was being cocky. He said, well, I wanted to win more prizes. So I thought I would come back. Well, there's no guarantee you're coming back. So sure enough, he did come back because he didn't win the car, and he lost immediately. I couldn't believe it. So years later, I was telling this story to somebody about 2 years ago. This has never happened before, ever. I'm parking my car and my trunk was open. I have no idea why, but I was just telling that story. This woman comes up to me. She goes, excuse me, but your trunk is open. I come out of the car. I said, oh, thank you so much for telling me. We were talking. And I said, well, you got a lot of personality. I'm casting a game show. She was the mother of that kid.
What?
We would talk, and I looked him up. He's disbarred. He's an attorney. He's barred from California. So you could tell about his personality.
Yeah.
We just thought he was right all the time about everything.
Wow.
But what a funny story, right? I mean, like I was just talking about him, and there he was. You know why? Let me tell your viewers why. I don't manifest anything, Dano. I woman-fest it. Men can manifest. I think women should woman-fest.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't think when you tell me that story, it's like you said, is it funny? I don't think the funny story, I mean, it is a funny story, but I think it's more so amazing because you know that's purpose, right?
Well, yeah, I meant kind of amazing. Not funny. I did mean like,
yeah,
really
yeah. Well, especially since your trunk is never open too. And now all of a sudden on that exact day.
I still have her card. I've got it right here.
Wow.
The mom.
Interesting. So, all right. So now since we're talking about kind of the contestants, I want to know this. What's the most you've ever seen somebody lose in one sitting?
Well, one of them was that $175,000. Well, he did get $25,000, but he did lose $150,000. But I tell people, you know, don't overthink it. I worked on the very first $1 million game show called $1 Million Chance of a Lifetime with Chuck Woolery. And guess what? I was a chaperone. No, that was Jim Lang. I was a chaperone on the dating game years before. I went to Bangkok, Jamaica, Alaska. I took a 10-day cruise to Canada, went to Hawaii, slept on the Queen Mary. I would go with all the contestants, you know, the couples that would win on the show. And years later, now I'm working with Jim Lang on $1 Million Chance of a Lifetime. And I always tell contestants, so anybody listening out there, if you ever have a chance to be on a game show, have fun at the studio. Don't be in a bad mood. Don't get upset if we're taking too long because stuff happens. So there were these 2 couples. One was like really easygoing. They were so friendly and nice. Everything that could go wrong went wrong at the studio. There was another couple that were saying, Bev, what time are we going home? Bev, why is it taking so long? Blah, blah, blah. So we couldn't see everybody that day. And I had to pick one couple to come back. Who do you think I brought back?
The Steve, positive, happy one?
Yeah. Positive, nice people. And guess what? They walked home with $1 million. I changed many lives on that show because I met a girl. She came in to audition, and I could tell. She said, Beverly, I interviewed for 10 shows, 10. Nobody ever got me a call back. And I could kind of see why. She wasn't like, you know, personality was a little bit whatever. But there was something about her I liked. They lived in a trailer park. There was just something new, down to earth, real about them. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put her on the show. Walked home with $1 million, changed their lives. Then I had a couple, listen to this, a young couple. I wasn't going to use them. The wife called me. She says, you know, my husband and I, we haven't heard what's going on. Are we going to get on? And I was real honest. I said, you're really cute and a lot of fun, but your husband's very quiet. But I'll tell you what, if you can come back and bring him more energy and, you know, let's see how you play. So I did. I put him on the show. And I walk into the studio and it's very quiet. And when you win the $1 million, money comes down and we have security guards coming out and they grab you. Nothing like that happened. I think, well, what's going on? And the couple's in the little cage thing and they go, excuse me, can we come out now? They won $1 million. Nobody expected them to win. We don't know who's going to win and who's not going to win. They just think they're going to win and they won $1 million. So
Wow.
yeah,
So
no,
yeah, so now that you offered me that, $1 million does sound great. So I'm definitely going to be taking you up on that offer as well. And Beverly, we just have to hear a word from our first sponsors.
sure.
And after that, we're going to come back with this more great content because we have to hear more about some of the great stories and the details that you've had with over 35 years of experience working with game shows. And I'm just super excited for you to be here. So to my positivity posse, I hope you're watching, having a great time. Make sure you are commenting so we can get to all of your comments as well. And actually, our first sponsor for today, you might know him. You know him, you love him. And here he is, one of the co-founders of the Power of Choices. So here it is, everybody. We're super excited to sponsor it.
What we do is very interactive, but very, very powerful because, look, yeah, I was an educator for 30 years. I don't believe in just academic education. The lack of character education, which is what we do, changes a culture, and it doesn't take 3 months or 3 years to do it.
We are the guys that come in that will teach these kids everything that they need in order to really be the best version of themselves and to get the skills to succeed in life, no matter what life throws at them.
That was Mark Overman.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh my God, I love him. He is wonderful. He is so inspiring. And was that Rico No Suave?
In the middle, yeah.
In the middle, Rico No Suave.
Yep.
Right?
So that was our commercial. Yeah, it was for the Power of Choices, where, Bev, where we go and we speak to the students to really teach them about mental resilience, anti-bullying, and everything that you may need for whatever culture that your school wants to work on. So that was just our sizzle reel, and we were just so excited to bring that up. And Beverly, like I said, we have a very special segment. So are you ready for today's segment?
I am ready.
All right, let's do it. So I know that you're always behind the scenes, but today we're going to put you in front and actually get you on our show, on our own game segment. I haven't found a name for it yet, but here it is, everybody. Here's the weekly dose of Dano game show trial. Here it is, everybody. Welcome our guest, Beverly Pomerantz. All right. So we're going to be playing today for some smiles, some laughter, some hugs, and just some positive energy. So here we're going to start off with our first question, and here it is. Are you ready, Beverly?
Yes, I am ready.
All right, here it is. So, Beverly, here it is. What was the highest single game earning in Jeopardy history? Was it A, around 53,000, B, 114,000, C, 131,000, or D, 232,000?
I think it was 232,000.
Final answer?
Final answer.
There it is, everybody. I don't have a sound effect to put a pig, but unfortunately, that's not the correct answer.
131?
Yep. So the answer is right here. See, 131,127. And that was cashed in or made by James Holzhauer on 4/17 in 2019. So that was pretty recent. What's that, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Well,
he's doing very well.
Yeah. So that's actually, did you cast him?
I didn't work on this on Jeopardy.
Yes, correct.
I did not work. They wanted me to work on Jeopardy. I turned it down. My girlfriend was working on it. I turned it down because I was busy casting other projects, but I did get to work with Alex for 4 years.
Yeah. So there it is.
Show.
Well, we're going to give you 2 more chances to redeem yourself because we have 2 more questions. And
this
here
is why I don't do game shows.
Yeah, well, this is why you're behind the camera.
No, true or false.
All right, here's our next question. Which famous game show was also a former weatherman before entering the world of television? Was it A, Bob Barker, B, Pat Sajak, C, Alex Trebek, or D, Drew Carey?
I worked with all of them. I am thinking it was Pat Sajak.
Pat Sajak? Okay. Final answer? You going to lock that in?
Final answer. B for Beverly.
There it is, everybody. Well, ding, 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 ding. You are correct. The answer is D. Pat Sajak, NBC affiliate, which in 1977 brought in Pat Sajak as the weatherman. He hosted Wheel of Fortune for the first time on December 28th, 1981. So,
and you know, Ryan Seacrest is going to be hosting it now, Wheel of Fortune. And I worked with Ryan on his first game show called Wild Animal Games.
Wow.
And he was the host, and I was the casting director.
Wow. And we want to hear some more stories about that as well. But before we get into that, we have to hear the final and last question as well. And here it is. Are you ready, Beverly?
I am ready, Dano.
For 1 million virtual dollars or virtual hugs I can send your way. Here it is. What was the first question ever asked on Family Feud? Was it A, what's the best-selling soft drink? B, which fast food chain sells the most burgers? C, name a type of fruit? Or D, name a famous George?
You know, I worked on that for 8 years. I never saw that question. Let's see. What was the first question ever asked on Family Feud? Wasn't it? No. Fast food chain. I would say which fast food chain sells the most burgers?
Final answer?
Final answer.
Final answer. Oh, Beverly, I want to give it to you so bad because you're so beautiful on the inside and out. But unfortunately, the correct answer is D, name a famous
I knew that. I swear to God, I was going to say that. I was going to say George. And then I started thinking, how many George? I was going to say that.
Yeah. And you know why? I knew you were going to say that because you said name.
With their gut feeling, because I knew that.
Yeah. So we talk about that here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV all the time. We talk about first mind, second thought. And whenever you go to take a test, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. You go with your intuition, you know the answer, but you say on second thought, and that's when we end up getting it wrong. So
exactly. Yeah. And it's like I tell my contestants the same thing. If your gut feeling, just go with it.
That's beautiful. So there it is. The answer is D, name is famous George. The most popular response for that question was George Washington as well. So thank you so much for playing. We will send you off with some warm hugs, kisses, smiles, and all the great things as well. We have Jeanette saying right here, wow, this is so much fun. Lou says, great question, Dano. And yeah, so that's what we have some more comments as well, but we have to continue with the show. Thank you for playing, Beverly. So you were talking about working with Ryan Seacrest. Do you have a favorite show host that you've worked with so far in your career?
Yeah, well, you know, I did. I loved Alex Trebek, Peter Marshall. He was okay. When I worked with Peter Marshall, I never left the home ever on a Friday night. All Star Blitz. Well, I worked with All Star Blitz, Hollywood Squares, Hollywood Squares, and Peter Marshall was the host. I would not leave until I saw that show. And then years later, he was the first host I get to work with. I could not believe Peter Marshall. He is still amazing. He is always amazing. He's the nicest guy and just a lot of fun. Yeah, he was just so, you know, you never know in life. Honestly, just think about things that you want, or maybe they're just in your mind somewhere and you don't even realize it. And then years later, because so really funny story. I had a friend, a guy friend I dated. He was 6'7". I said, go on a game show. I wasn't working on game shows. Years later, I went for an interview for Match Game, and I found it to be very, it wasn't fun. I found the casting director not fun, not enthusiastic. He was very serious. And I looked at him and I said, someday I want to be on that end. And then years later, I started casting game shows and I made it fun. So you never know.
Yeah, you never know. And that's why you always got to stay on point. And for everybody, it sounds like you never know who you're going to meet on the streets. Just walking around in the grocery store. So it's really important to treat everybody with kindness, but to always give that extra piece of motivation. And I know, Beverly, you like to do that in the sense of compliments. So can you tell us about a recent story that you've complimented somebody and you've actually changed their life with that?
Oh my gosh. Well, there is always something about somebody you can compliment on, you know, and there was a guy, honestly, there was a Pavilions, and he was walking down the aisle and I just walked by him. He's walking one way, I'm walking the other way. And I look around, I see things, try to help people. Anyway, I saw that he had ice cream in his cart and I yelled, excuse me, there's ice cream over here that's on sale. I don't think you saw it. He goes, really? So he comes over and we started talking. He was really funny. I took a picture of him and my dog and he's writing all his info and he walked home with 10 grand. I have changed. You know, I met a woman in a bathroom. I met this woman in a bathroom. She was not just in the bathroom, she was in the stall. I asked her mother, I didn't know it was her mother. I said, do you want to be in a game? She goes, no, but my daughter's in going to, you know, can you wait? And I waited, and she's been on 3 of my game shows, and she's walked home with like $35,000 so far. And in fact, she's going to do this one, I think.
Wow.
And so, you know, it's always a blessing to say something fun to people. I had 3 guys, it's a little different, but I never did this before, but they were walking to the Grove, and they're big, handsome guys, and they're walking by me, and I have my dog, and they go, adorable. And I went, me? Thank you very much. They started laughing so hard. I do that all the time now. People have said, oh, you've got to have dinner with us. You know, it's just funny. So why did I tell you a story I forgot about?
No, I was just thinking, it's just curious because I know there's so many stories that you can come up with over 35 years, but it was so funny when you were telling about the lady in the stall. I just imagine you, for some reason, somebody in the bathroom using the stall, you just poke your head underneath the stall. Hey, want to be on a game show? And
well, no, I started a script called Cast of Characters, and it opens up in the bathroom it opens up in the bathroom talking to some girls, and this girl comes out of the stall and goes, I want to be on your game show. Don't go. And I thought, oh, I don't know if she's right, but it was funny. It was really funny. So that's how it starts. But
so now I know that you say when you're going out, it's kind of the spur of the moment. And I know when you do like The Price is Right, they look for somebody inside of the crowd that's maybe dressed, you know, ridiculously or just going wild and nuts. Is there anything that you look for on the streets when you go to find your contestants?
Well, that's more let's make a deal is when they all dress up.
Okay.
Costumes. Price is Right is come on down. And, you know, it's different now because years ago they'd have to stand in line at CBS. And now since the pandemic and everything, then they started interviewing them over Zoom individually. And I would find people like that. So I worked on Family Feud. I worked on Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal. And I got stories. I got to read my book when I get it out. But anyway, but, you know, it's just sort of like you're just looking for the enthusiasm. Like I met a guy today at Apple. He was very stiff, but then we started talking. He was a lot of fun, but then he became stiff again. I said to him, well, you know, I said, I come in all the time if you want to be on a game show. Cause I thought, no, I know if he gets on camera, he's going to be really stiff, but I will tell you something. Can I tell you a funny story really quick?
Yeah.
I went to an event right down my street. It was with Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom. And it was a show that he was doing. And you have to have a special bracelet to walk in so they know that you're confirmed, they call it, that you can stand in line. So I came in and there was this security guard. I think I told you, he was really tough. And he's standing with his hands on his stomach and he's looking right out. It's very straight. And he says, I walk in, he goes, excuse me. He says, are you confirmed? And I walked over to him and I said, you mean like religiously? Am I confirmed? He started laughing so hard. He's now going to audition for my game show because he was really funny. He went from this like really serious, but today the guy went serious to funny to really serious again. So, you know, I kind of know what they want on a game show.
Well, of course, but you've been doing it for so long, and actually, this is perfect timing, Beverly. Just like you said, we appreciate you telling us that story. But we have to hear a word from our second sponsor today, which is the Power of We Symposium, which I'm going to be attending if all goes well in Chicago. And I'm just super excited just talking to Lauren today. And here it is, everybody, our second sponsor for today. And if you're watching live or on the replay, just drop some love, some extra positive energy in the comments or just virtually as well, because we'll be able to feel it. And here it is, everybody, our second sponsor for today.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, Mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
So thank you to the Power of We Symposium for sponsoring Weekly Dose of Dano TV. And we have
That looks amazing. I want to go to that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, well, there it is. It's Chicago, and you might see me there as well if everything goes correctly. So, Beverly, as well, I know you are much more than a game show or casting director, and you're actually a poet as well. So, I know that you have a very special poem that you want to share with the Positivity Posse. Do you have it ready?
I do. One day I was looking at my hands and I just didn't think about them, but I just, you look at your hands or you look at something and I started looking at them and I go, well, I'm getting older and my hands are getting older. And then I started really thinking about what do hands do? What do they do? It took me a while to write this because, I would look at people, I'd shake a hand or I'd pet a pet. And I thought about what do we take our hands for granted? So I thought, I call it the magic of hands, and all they can do will make the world as magical as you. Look at your hands, and do you see? They are filled with magic, most definitely. Just for now, let's set them free to the beginning of time when they came out of the womb and you touched your parents' hands and they begin to swoon. For knowing the miracles your hands will create, a love in their heart is all that it takes. And from learning to eat and beginning to crawl, playing with toys, patty cake, and riding a bike, your hands will feel a whole new world that's in store. Petting your loving pets, throwing a ball or holding a mic, bringing music to the world, a warm handshake, driving a car, playing the piano and strumming a guitar, reading a book, learning to paint, cooking a delicious meal, designing buildings around you, and creating life is so fulfilling. Knitting clothes to put a smile on someone's face, to make them feel loved and warm and safe. Learning to sign when you want to share words, to let your loved ones know you can always be heard. Doctors and nurses are always our hero, as they know how to heal, and with a certain touch, they may know how you feel. They take loving care to make you well so you can live your life with the kindness they've shared. Clapping your hands to applaud entertainment you love touches the performance hearts in so many ways. Taking photos of family and friends can bring back many happy memories that have lasted a lifetime that you've shared. You can post them on Facebook, Instagram, and more, and the number of likes will make your heart soar. Hands can caress your face and wipe away tears and stroke your brow so you have no more fears. Holding the hands of the ones you love touches your heart with happiness. Hands help you dress in the morning with putting on makeup, brushing your teeth, tying your shoes. Never take them for granted. They may not always be there. Hands can create movies by writing, carving, and molding figures with their fingers. So when you look at your hands, they may give you the shivers. They can write novels, plays, and much more to tell the stories of life, which open up your mind to magic and light. Your hands can write love notes when you're in love. And they can send out invitations to all that you love, from parties, weddings, birthday cards, and more, with enjoying sweet memories that may be in store. Wrapping gifts for family and friends shows them you love them all over again. When you fall in love and your hands become one, being engaged is wonderful, and wearing your rings can mean everything. From toasting your love of each other, living your life as a loving couple, sharing adventures, and maybe bringing children in the world will make your happiness double. Holding your grandchildren's hands for the very first time will bring back so many happy memories that have lasted a lifetime. So when you look at your hands, remember the moment they came out of the womb and all the wonder they will touch, and watch them bloom.
Boom! Drop the mic. There it is. Take that, ChatGPT. There's no way that they can write that. And thank you so much for sharing that. I could just feel the love and the passion and the experience that you took in order to make that. And Beverly, I gotta ask you, why is it that you were so? Because usually I'm like, I'm really weary, like we sharing certain things here on the show, but of course, I would love to have shared that. Why was it so important for you to share that?
Well, I want to show people that we take things about our life, but everybody's not tall, everybody's not short. Some people have part of a hand. I saw that on TV. This young girl, she lost her hand, but she's like amazing. She's very inspirational, and we take things for granted. I was having a problem with my thumb, and I couldn't do the things I wanted to. It's better now, but you don't think about it, and then you have to think about your life and how you can change things if something isn't happening, but take care of the things that you have so they can last longer. It's like we just take things and just meeting people and doing things in life. Or if something bad happens, not bad, but something you didn't think was going to happen during the day, but 10 minutes later, something might have made it a miracle that, oh my gosh, this, like today, my phone has not been working for quite a few months, but I met so many amazing people today because I had to go back to the store. I wouldn't have met these people. In fact, I said, maybe it was a good thing my phone didn't work because now I met you, and something could change. I could put them on a game show or something like that.
Of course.
We have to look at the positive. And so when I met a guy one day, I mean, it was just a business meeting, but when he shook my hand, that's when I thought a warm handshake. That's when that part came to me.
Yeah. And
petting my dog, I thought, oh, what about petting a dog? And I saw a little young man. He was knitting clothes. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's what knitting. It makes you warm, lovingly safe when you're wearing something. So that's why I just wanted people to know we take a lot of things in our life for granted.
Yeah. I think it's so important as well that we kind of think about the reasons why certain things are happening in our life. And when we imbue that positive message to say that everything is working out for us, no matter how it may seem or how it's playing out, if you understand that it is working out for you, then there's nothing that can happen to you in this world that is going to get you down, that is going to get you defeated, and you'll be able to persevere and go through anything that's happening in your life. And I know for me, I can point to countless things, and we have guests that have come on that have beaten cancer, that have survived, the sex trafficking industry. And even with those extremes, they found the positive meaning on what they were going through in their lives. They took that meaning, gave it a positive one, and now their lives are just so much better, and they're living their life of purpose and passion. But that's what it really takes is why we are defining, and why are we defining the things that we are defining it as. So when we find that introspection and we change it, that's when we can really start to live life and not just go through the motions of it and just be stuck in that cycle, or, just a gerbil on a mouse or on a wheel.
Well, I always say to people, be happy with what you have and not with what you don't have. I look at my dog. If my life had been any other way, I might not have had my little Daisy J. We have to look at the positive where we are right now and look at the things in our life, because everybody goes through stuff. I've gone through losses. I didn't get a job. Okay, this is a story. I didn't get a job I wanted. I was really upset. And then my girlfriend got mad, and not mad, but I said, I wanted to do MTV, right? I said, oh, they're only going to hire young people. It was for the blame game. Everybody's in their 20s and 30s. And she said, go on that. Just send them your resume. I said, okay. So I sent my resume. I go upstairs, and everybody's in their 20s and 30s looking for the job. And then I go to the producer, and I shake his hand, and I go, hi, I just want you to know I'm 24 and I wear sparkles. He said, you got the job. And I worked with him for years and years. And so, what I'm saying is we all go through different things in our life. It's how we deal with them, and then look at the positive of something. Maybe you had a terrible childhood. Now you're married and you've got these great kids. Well, maybe if you didn't have that terrible childhood, you wouldn't have had these amazing kids, because your life would have been different. We don't know what could have happened, only what does happen.
Yeah. And even with something, I'll take it a step further. If you did have a terrible childhood, now when you do have your own kids, how to treat them and to avoid the pitfalls that you had to go through. And now it just makes you that much more of a better parent going forward. So, hey, it happens, but it's leading you to where you need to be right now, and to help the next generation and people that we will teach, and those that can learn from us as well. So, Beverly, just really quickly, because we have to clear a word from our last sponsor, which is It Takes a Village Housing, nonprofit that helps women and children that have been affected by drugs and alcohol, give them a chance to raise their children. But I know you said that you have taken this position and you've done it around the world. So can you share with us what your favorite experience has been around the world?
Well, I lived in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, casted a show called Hydra Executives. You can go online, hydraexecutives.com. It was like The Apprentice, and I was one of they had me as a judge for the day, and it was really fun. So I lived in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, casting a show. I lived in Ireland, casting a movie called Truth About Carrie. And I've done I've traveled all over the world by myself. I've been to Africa, Russia, Australia, New Zealand. Sometimes you don't have anybody to go with, but I tell people, if you always want to travel and you have nobody to travel with your best friend. Look in the mirror, or take a trip in your own city for the day and see what you feel like, maybe explore your city. So I just think traveling and learning about new people and new cultures, that's what's wrong with so many people that are just stuck in their little thing, and they don't meet people from all different ethnic groups. I love people from ethnic groups. I don't care if they're Palestinian. I don't care what they are. As long as they're good people, I want to hug them, and we're just all the same, but people put this wall up. Oh, this person's bad. That person's bad. No, give them a chance to show you that they're good and they're fun and they enjoy life just like we do. So
yeah.
I wish I could teach everybody there.
Yeah. And, I think when it comes to a big thing that I've never said this to anybody before, but now I'm going to share it with everyone. When it comes to building those walls and creating those dividers, I think it's through the titles that we use for one another. So if you're saying, like you said, this person's good, this person's bad. If you're saying that you're an owner and a CEO and somebody says that they're a janitor, you might look at them a certain way, or even if it's the race that you were talking about, somebody says that they're white, black, or Spanish, whatever it is. When we kind of go ahead and lead with those titles, then we're putting ourselves in the box, or other people giving a chance for other people to put us in the box. So when you just go and you said, hey, I'm Dano, hey, I'm Beverly, or hey, I'm whoever I am, that's what you lead with. You lead with your spirit, you lead with your authenticity, and then you see where it goes. Don't say, I am a CEO, because what happens if tomorrow, God forbid, that you lose that position? You don't lose who you are. You just lost that title that was given to you. So I really love that as well, that you brought up the idea of titles and divisions and dividers. So we eliminate that, then we get one step closer of really seeing everybody for the human beings that we are. So
can I tell you one thing really quick? When I was in Abu Dhabi, I went to a mall, a shopping mall. I walk into the bathroom and the women working there were sitting on the floor. I go, why are you sitting on the floor? They won't give us chairs. I go, what do you mean they won't give you chairs? So I call the manager of the shopping mall. I said, this is unacceptable. How can you have these people working there sitting on the floor? So I went home, back to my room, and the next day I took a bus out there to the shopping mall. And I walk in the bathroom and I said, I see you've got chairs. She goes, you must be Beverly. They got us all chairs. They even got the men chairs in their bathroom. And in my hotel where I was staying, the girl did not have a chair. She had to stand up for like 5-7 hours in this little shop. Oh no. I got her a high chair. She got to sit down. She got, and she wasn't working. I don't like to see injustice. So I try to make a difference. And I think we all can in little ways.
Yeah. I don't think you try. I think that you actually do. So I'm just going to make that little change as well, because in your entire career of over 35 years of doing and living life, and even more than that, you have actually performed, and you're not just all talk. You're actually walking the walk as well. So let's hear a word from It Takes a Village Housing. Thank you so much for sponsoring a Weekly Dose of Dano TV. And here it is, everybody. It Takes a Village Housing's, commercial for everybody to see.
Takes a village about keeping our families together.
God bless this organization.
And can I say one thing before we
Yeah.
go? I just want to tell everybody I'm casting the game show Flip Side. It's going to be on GSN with Janelle White he's Urkel, and it's a great show. It's kind of like Family Feud. It's a survey question. So watch for Flip Side in probably a couple months.
Yeah, definitely. Well, are there any other projects that we should be on the lookout for that you're producing?
Oh, I have 5 shows on TV right now. So I do one show at a time. And so Flip Side with Rita is the producer, the casting producer. She's amazing. And it's everybody I work with there, even though I don't know them, I haven't seen them because we work remotely. They're a great group of people I work with. So it's been really, really great. But Urkel is amazing. And it's going to be really fun. So, and everybody can play along because it's survey questions and it's multiple choice and you can all be silly and have a great time. So I just wanted to give everybody that opportunity when it comes out. Flip Side.
Yeah, Flip Side. So there it is, everybody. Be on the lookout for that when it comes out. Is there a potential air date for the first episode?
Probably, I would say September, October, because we start taping June and July. And then it takes a couple months to get it all together.
Wow. That sounds very exciting as well. And there's also something called Shifter that you've been a part of. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, my God. The movie?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. Really funny story. I was in Greece with my girlfriend, Tasha. She was Miss Arizona. We went to Greece together. And we're in Athens. And I'm walking up a staircase. I'm walking down a young man named Matt Martyr. He's walking up a staircase. Because I didn't know him, I said, "Hi, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm there for a movie screening." I said, "What are you doing for 3 days?" "Nothing." I said, "Hang out with us." We went to the Acropolis together. We just did everything together. He was 21. He lived 21 years so far, right? He went to school in Pennsylvania. And so 7 years later, now I'm casting his movies. So wow. Shifter was one of his movies. And it was great. Great fun. Went on the auditions. I met some great people, some great actors. And so it was great and he's great to work with, Matt. So it was a lot of fun. Maybe I'll call him tomorrow. Maybe might have a project.
There you go. So it's just amazing to hear about it, that not only are you doing it for game shows, but you just really expanded and to help all different kinds of people in all different areas. So I just love to hear more about everything that you're doing, because it's very inspiring that you see people that are in these, high positions, that not only are they there just to say, well, I'm Beverly Pomerantz, I've done XYZ. You're doing it with the intention to help people out in whatever aspect that you see them in. So why is it that you kind of carry it that way, that you have really developed that sense to help people versus more of it being a power trip?
I just think it's fun. I think if you can see a sparkle in, my girlfriend was here, Virginie from France, and she wrote something in a book, and she said, because she went with me when I was looking for contestants, and she said, "Bev, I can see the sparkle in the people's eyes when you ask them to be on a game show." That really touched my heart, but that's what it's all about. It's about people going, "Really? You're asking me?" It's a great feeling to know that you can touch somebody's heart. It's a great feeling to know that somebody can maybe change their life in a little, even a little or a big way or whatever it is. I'm the kind of person in my apartment, I'll look out my window. I do this all the time. And I see somebody parking and their wheels are turned the wrong way. I yell out the window, "Excuse me, no, you over there. No, you, yeah, turn your wheels in or you're going to get a ticket." I say people all the time because I look at things, I see if somebody's going to slip, there's paper on there and it's slippery, and I pick it up and I just throw it in the trash because everybody's on their cell phone now, right?
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking too. If you have somebody yelling at you from across the parking lot, you're like, "Oh, what does this crazy lady want? How's she going to yell at me this time?"
No, but they know me. They go, "Oh, that must be Bev."
Yeah. And I just want to talk about a few comments here. It says, Jeanette says, "Beverly, you are inspiring. You have a lot of funny stories and I love it." And there was also one more that I wanted to say. Oh, here it is. And Jeanette says, "Brian Seacrest has nothing on Dano."
That's true.
Yeah, we'll see a little bit further along in the future if those opportunities come for me as well. And I'm excited and welcoming. But Bev, we only have a few minutes left for the episode today. As you said, it flew by. And what did I tell you all? She is the epitome of what we talk about here on Weekly Dose of Dano TV, week in and week out. And we're just super excited, grateful, and honored to have you here, Beverly. But for the final question for today, it is not a game show question. It's more about mentality. And we always wrap it up with the same question every week. So here it is. If there's somebody right now that's in their deepest, darkest moments, what advice would you have to give for them in order to get out of wherever negative space they're in?
Oh my gosh. I love this question because I tell this to people. I say an egg and a sperm got together. What a miracle that is. Here we are. We all go through stuff. Think of what a miracle you are sitting here right now. And maybe it's bad for you at this moment, but step out of your comfort zone. Go say hi to somebody, compliment them, and it makes you feel better because we get stuck sometimes in our own mind. And then we forget when we go out and see the world, or just even go by yourself and take breath, go by the beach or where are the mountains, wherever it is that makes you feel good. So don't just get stuck. You have to take a step above and move forward that, because it does help. And the minute you say something fun to somebody, it makes you feel better. So I just say an egg and a sperm. Here we are all talking.
Yep. And the odds of that happening, I don't even know what the mathematics are. But like you said, it's a miracle. So don't undermine it or don't take it lightly, because every
Right.
second that we are here living, talking, breathing, and existing is a moment that we can use for ourselves to empower ourselves and to empower everybody else that we see and we come into contact with. So don't take that very lightly. Beverly, thank you so much. Where can people reach out to you, or
Thank you. You're great. I mean, you're very inspiring. You really are. You're full of life. You've got passion. Maybe you'll be a game show host one day. I mean, you've got that energy that shines for people. So that's why I wanted to be on your show, because I really felt that through you. So thank you. You bring it out in me. Honestly, you're just full of life. So I'm on, well, I've got a new phone on my Instagram, but they can Instagram me, I guess. Bev,
Yeah.
Gail, Bev.
And there it is, right underneath your screen. So at Beverly Pomerantz, you can find it on Instagram. And thank you so much for your positive, kind words. I really do appreciate it. And we just got to keep going and inspire the masses and help other people understand that even though we are like this, you can live like this every single day. You just got to learn how, and you got to listen to the stories of people that are actually doing it, such as a wonderful legend as yourself, Beverly. So thank you for coming on today. Jeanette says right here, an egg and a sperm, how we are, or here we are. There you go. And then Dano is the best. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. And so next week, just to let everybody know, I'm not sure if we're gonna have a show because I think I'm gonna be in LA. Everything is still gotta cross the T's and dot the I's.
Hopefully, I'll get to meet you.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta let me know and we'll schedule some time. To my positivity posse, please have a great, safe weekend. And remember everything that we talked about here. And if you can't remember it all, hit the rewind button and watch the episode all over again so you can feel all of the great energy, positivity, warm hugs, smiles, kisses, and all the great things that we've talked about, especially Beverly has mentioned on the show. So thank you so much for being here. To my positivity posse, I'll see you next week or potentially 2 weeks away. And really stay safe. And I'll see you next time for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Thank you again, Bev.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for watching.
There it is. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Maybe you'll all get on again.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We're all good?